Have you ever had a lawnmower start whenever it felt like it and not when you wanted it to? It can be very frustrating to have this situation come up, but to be honest, most consumers just deal with it until one day they give up on it and put it on the curb for the next person to deal with. However, this one is not in that situation just yet. We still have a lot of work to do, so we better get to work. In today's video, we're going to be looking at this very basic Bolens lawnmower. And the problem is that we just picked it up after using my favorite app and we're not sure what kind of condition it's in. Now the first thing we need to do is of course look around the mower and see if there's anything wrong with it. In the first impressions, it's actually in pretty good condition, which is pretty amazing since most times these are often abused beyond help. And as further proof, you can roughly tell how old this mower is by the serial number on the edge of the blower housing. So as you just saw, the carb setup has a primer bulb which is supposed to spray a tiny amount of fuel into the carb to help start the engine. Some are going to tell you that this style is a lot better than the automatic choke system since you have control over it, but that's only if it works. So as you can see, the brake cable does work, however it's very tough to squeeze it, which could mean we'll need to look at the cable for any problems. Now we might be able to save it by cleaning and lubricating the cable, but sometimes it's just far better to just replace it. But while we have access to the carb, we'll try priming it and see what happens. Well, it started, but it was a lot louder than it should have been. However, it could be a blade problem. But to be sure, we'll put some gasoline into the fuel tank and try that again. Now this time we get nothing, but we're not going to give up. Now it could be a primer bulb problem, so we're going to prime it again and see what happens. So here's what we know. The engine is not worn out and it can run, but the priming system seems to be faulty. But to find out, it's pretty simple. We'll just take a closer look at the carb while priming it and see what happens. And what you're not seeing is fuel coming out of the carb, confirming that it's not working. But what is it supposed to look like then? Well, to find out, we're just going to blow some air into that opening in the bulb, and this is what it should look like. Now that we know that there's something wrong with the carb and primer bulb, we better take them off and inspect them for anything that's out of place. Just make sure to keep all your nuts and bolts organized so that way you don't lose them. Now the most likely reason for the priming system to fail is a broken or missing gasket on the backside of the air filter base, and in this case it appears to be broken. And that means every time you press on the bulb, the air from it isn't able to push fuel into the carb, which is what I'm doing with the fuel line. But there is one other reason why the primer bulb might not be working on this carb, and that's if the fuel bowl gasket is leaking air. Now the gasket doesn't have to be broken, just leaking enough air to make the primer bulb not work. But I do have to admit that the priming system is a fantastic system, and as long as it hasn't been disturbed, it can be very reliable for years. So as you can tell, I'm going to take the carb off for inspection. However, you could choose to drop the fuel bowl first before deciding to go this route. That's because if the fuel bowl was in great condition, it may not be necessary to take the carb off the engine and only needing a jet cleaning instead. Also, be very careful when disconnecting the carb from this linkage because you could break the plastic part. And once the carb is free from the engine, we'll take off the bolt for the bowl and see what it looks like inside the carb. So this is when we see the bad news. This is old fuel that's coating the inside of the bowl, not to mention the rest of the carb as well. Yes, the coating is bad, but the problem is that when it gets to this stage, the fuel could damage the needle seat too, which could cause fuel control issues, which is not good. That's because fuel could slowly leak into the engine, not only causing starting problems, but if enough of it gets into the engine, the crankcase could fill with it too, making for a dangerous situation. But to give us the best chance to get this fixed, I'm going to put these parts into the ultrasonic cleaner and come back when they're done cooking. But while it's doing that, I'm going to replace the brake cable with a new one. And yes, we could have tried cleaning the old one and it might last the next season, but the chances it'll work well for the next one is not good. So instead, we went ahead and paid the $10 for a new one, which should last for several seasons depending upon how well this mower is taken care of. So the parts are done cooking, and to be honest, they look great. However, we need to replace that old seat before we move on, otherwise we might as well just replace the carb. Now I'm going to use this drill bit to help me do that, but there are other ways of doing this. And it's at this point you can see the difference between the new one and the old one we just took out. That smaller opening in the seat is going to reduce fuel flow to the carb, and that's one good reason we need to replace it. But if you're not confident in replacing the seat, then I'd recommend that you just replace the entire carb instead. That does bring up a good point though, in that some carbs are so cheap that it's much easier just to replace them than cleaning them. And even though the cheaper aftermarket ones can have their problems, chances are still good they'll work well in comparison to being cleaned for the first time. Once the seat is in place and facing the right way, make sure it's fully seated because if it's not, it'll affect how the carb works. But to be honest, this kind of detailed work is something most consumers don't want to deal with, so if that's you, you know what to do. So after carefully installing the pin for the float, make sure that the float is almost parallel with the mating surface for the fuel bowl. We'll then carefully replace the bowl. However, before installing the bolt, which is also the fuel jet, we need to make sure that all the openings are clear. I'm going to be using some carb cleaning wires. However, you can use any kind of wire that's small enough to fit, but after that, it's important to use some carb cleaner too. Also, don't forget to install the gasket for the bowl nut because without it, there is going to be a leak there. But here's something to keep in mind. Don't over tighten it, otherwise you could damage the bolt. Now, my recommendation for anyone trying to fix one of these is to just replace the carb since these are very inexpensive to buy from the aftermarket. And the reason why you'd want to do that is because going that route has a very high success rate. So if you don't feel very confident about doing this kind of cleaning, then I think it's a wise choice. Now this one was quite dirty and gross, but after a few minutes of cleaning, I think it's clean enough to work well again. This would also be a great time to replace that fuel line if yours is getting a bit hard or cracking. Now once the carb has been installed onto the engine, I would like to put some gasoline into the fuel tank, that way we can test the priming system. And of course the most crucial part of the system is the overlooked gasket on the back of the air filter base. Because as you saw earlier, there was a crack on the last one which was allowing air to leak from the system, causing our starting problem. Now to fix this one, I installed a used one from a different project, at least until I can find my stash of new gaskets to use. But now that the base and gasket has been installed, we should be able to see fuel pushed into the carb, which we do. But if you don't see any visible fuel, then you might have a bad bowl gasket which will need to be replaced. Now there is one other possibility, and that's if the filter base is warped, but to get around that problem, you need to replace the base with a new one. But an easier way to get around that problem is to install another base gasket. However, this may not be enough though. Next up, we're going to sharpen the blade, but I like to see if it's balanced before I try sharpening it. That way, I can adjust how many passes I make while sharpening it to try and better use my time. And as you can see, this blade was already balanced, which means I'll try and make the same number of passes while we sharpen it. But if you don't want to try and sharpen yours, then your other choice is to have someone else do it or just buy a new blade. Now, even though I don't see any major damage to the cutting edge on the blade, I would like to at least inspect the flywheel key and see if there's anything wrong with it. Now, if you didn't know this, anytime the blade hits something hard like a stump or even hard dirt, it could cause the key to shear. And if that does happen, it could affect how the engine starts and runs. And after taking off the nut and starter cup, we should be able to see the top of the key. Now, it should be lined up with the groove in the shaft, but as you can see, it's not. It's to the left of it because it's been sheared. That unfortunately means we need to remove the flywheel, take out the damaged key, and then replace it with a new one. But because this key is so badly sheared, it will be quite difficult to remove the flywheel, so be patient. Now you can try the tapping method to remove the flywheel, however I don't want to risk damaging anything, so I like using a puller instead. These pullers are not very expensive and will pay for themselves after a few uses, so they're well worth the money. So we have a huge problem. The flywheel key did not break free. That means we can either wait until it lets go or give it a bit of help. Just be very careful doing this because you are going to be prying on top of the engine and something could break. But after a couple of light taps from Mr. Hammer, the flywheel finally let go, and once it comes off, you'll see why it was having problems. Because the flywheel key was sheared so badly, it was able to put metal in the clearance where there was nothing, making it much tighter than it should be. However, when the key is only lightly sheared, it's much easier to free the flywheel, so keep that in mind. But for those that don't know, this is what the key is supposed to look like. You can buy these individually, but for the price of one, it's about the same price for a couple of them, so I would buy a multi-pack instead. Now to install the key, it's as simple as lining the opening with the groove and then inserting the key. You shouldn't have to force it unless for some reason either part was damaged, but that's quite rare. Once the key is in place, replace the starter cup and the nut and then tighten it down. So I can't really explain how the key was damaged that badly, but the blade showed no signs of any contact. But if I had to make a guess, I'd say this blade was a used replacement. The only other possibility is that they hit something soft enough to not damage the edge, say a rotting stump. but it still had a hard enough center that was able to stop the engine while running. All I know is that most all the other major problems with this engine have been taken care of, so it should start and run. We'll just put the beauty cover back on top of the engine, prime it a few times, and then see what happens when we pull on the rope. So it's been running for several minutes and the engine should be good and hot. Let's see how it starts back up. Well, this is not a good sign. Now we have to wonder if this hot starting problem is fuel related or an engine issue. So we'll just prime it again and see what happens. So this is interesting. It started back up, which could mean it's a carb problem, but it could also be an engine problem too. What I mean by that is that once the engine is hot, it might not be able to draw enough air and fuel into the engine to start back up. But if you prime it, it could be making up for this problem, so it's a tough call on what the problem might be. So now comes the hard part. Should we just replace the carb with a new one and see if it fixes the problem? But here comes the rub. What if it doesn't fix the problem? It'll then confirm that the problem is actually with the engine, which will be much harder to fix. But the other possibility is to just sell it the way it is, saving time and more importantly money that you won't have to add to the asking price. I'm quite certain most consumers won't have an issue with just priming the engine for hot starts, but then again, we can't say what they'll do. So my question is, what would you do with this mower? Just replace the carb or sell it as is? Thank you for watching. I really do appreciate your time here. Please feel free to ask me any questions about this project or about your own projects, and I hope to see you in the next video.